you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the community. You won't want to miss what happens next. Think back to those golden childhood days when the whole world felt like it revolved around you. The house was a castle, every hallway a secret tunnel for hide-and-seek that could stretch on forever. We'd charge into the backyard, sticks raised high, battling dragons and monsters only we could see. I remember one afternoon so clearly swooped in with my cardboard sword and saved Mum from a ruthless pirate who was after the very last slice of warm apple pie cooling on the counter. She'd laugh, pull me into a hug, and tell me I was her brave little hero. My parents' eyes sparkled when they looked at me. Their praise felt like sunshine pouring straight into my heart. Life was pure magic, endless adventure, and unbreakable love. Then I turned 3, and everything cracked open. My baby sister Genevievean came home from the hospital. From the second she opened those piercing blue eyes, the air in our house changed. The warmth that had wrapped around me shifted, redirected, and suddenly I was standing just outside the circle of light. I didn't have words for it then, but the ache started small and grew quietly, day by day, until it became the loudest thing in my world. This is the story of how loneliness almost swallowed me whole, how I built invisible walls to survive it, and how, against all odds, I found my way back to real connection. Jen was a wonder from the beginning. She walked at 9 months, her tiny feet pattering with purpose. At 2, she carefully printed her name in crooked but perfect letters. By 3, she could recite the entire alphabet without a single stumble. At 7, she stood on a national stage, spelling words I'd never even heard, clutching an enormous check while cameras flashed and reporters swarmed. My parents hovered close, faces glowing with disbelief and pride. We're so incredibly lucky, they'd repeat to anyone who would listen. Our little genius, our pride and joy. I'd curl up in the corner of the room, arms tight around my knees, feeling myself shrank smaller and smaller with every word of praise that floated past me and landed only on her. When the magazine photographer arrived for the cover shoot, Jen announced calmly, confidently, that I couldn't be in the family pictures. "It's my moment," she said. She ruined the vibe with her stupidity. My parents hesitated, exchanged a quick glance, then gently pressed a few dollars into my palm. "Go get some ice cream, sweetie. Wait outside." I stood on the sidewalk for what felt like hours, nose pressed to the cold window, watching flashes light up the living room again and again while I stayed in the shadows. The loneliness sank deeper that day, like a stone settling at the bottom of a lake. A few months later, I came home from school to find Jen perched on my bed surrounded by gleaming trophies that reflected the afternoon sun. Mum and Dad stood in the doorway, smiling softly. "We're switching rooms," they explained. "This one's bigger perfect for Jen's awards. You don't really need all this space, Lola. You don't have trophies." The unfairness hit me like a tidal wave. I collapsed on the floor, screaming, kicking, tears streaming hot down my cheeks. I'm running away. I'll find a new family who actually loves me. I bolted out the door, heart pounding, and made it exactly to the end of the driveway before the terrifying reality of nowhere to go stopped me cold. Defeated, I climbed into our old tree house, curled up in the dusty corner, and let the sobs shake me until I had nothing left. That's when Madison appeared. She dropped out of nowhere, snatched the half-melted candy bar from my fingers, and grinned like she'd been waiting for me forever. "This treehouse is mine now too," she declared, scribbling Madison in bold letters on the wooden wall. Then she broke the candy bar in half and handed me the bigger piece. From that afternoon on, Madison became my entire world. She spun wild story skeletons buried next door, an old lady across the street hiding a spaceship in her garage. We waged spitball wars, launched water balloons at passing neighbors, laughed until our sides ached and the hurt felt far away. For the first time since Jen arrived, someone chose me, saw me, made me feel alive again. If you've ever felt replaced, overlooked, or just painfully invisible in your own family, pause right here and leave a comment below. Tell me I'm not the only one who's carried that quiet ache. Your stories heal me too. Madison stayed with me through the hardest years. When Jen caught me mid-sword fight in the backyard and asked who I was talking to, Madison vanished the instant Jen turned, then reappeared with a mischievous wink the second she left. In junior high, when every lunch table felt like a wall and whispers followed me down hallways, Madison slipped into classrooms, pulling ridiculous faces behind teachers until I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing out loud. She roasted bullies before they could land a blow, sat front row cheering when I performed my big monologue in the school play even though Mum and Dad skipped it for yet another of Gen S competitions. Madison made the loneliness survivable. She made me brave when I felt anything but. Then, after we returned from my 15th birthday trip, Madison was simply gone. I searched the treehouse, the school hallways, every corner of the house calling her name until my throat burned. Jen found me crumpled on the floor, tears soaking my shirt. "Lola," she said softly, "maybe it's time to let imaginary friends go." I screamed at her to leave me alone, slammed my door, and curled into the hollow space she'd left behind. High Scoob got even more brutal. My sister Jen skipped a grade and landed right in mine, instantly becoming the center of attention. She was suddenly surrounded by admirers, while I just wasn't. I'll never forget the day the most popular girl, Emily, was handing out invitations to her massive birthday party. She made a whole show of it, making sure I saw her forget to give me one. Then she leaned over to Jen and whispered, just loud enough for me to hear, "It must be so embarrassing to have her as a sister." I walked home that day with tears stinging my eyes, my vision blurry. I decided to stop at the corner store to buy some chocolate, my usual comfort food for a bad day. It wasn't until I got home and looked in the mirror that I saw it. a giant sign crudely taped to my back with the word loser scrawled across it in thick black marker. And that's when he appeared. Hunter. He was a new kid, quiet, but he just walked up, gently peeled the sign off my back, and gave me this soft, kind smile. He told me I seemed pretty cool. From that day on, we spent every spare moment together. It was like finding the other half of my own brain. We loved the same books, the same ridiculously stupid movies that made us laugh so hard we cried, and he listened. I mean, he really listened. I finally told someone everything, all the years of hurt, the overshadowed birthdays, the hand-me-down gifts. The constant feeling of being an afterthought in my own family. For the very first time, I felt a flicker of real hope bloom inside my chest. I started to fall for him, and I was falling hard. If you've ever had a friend, real or imaginary, who made the darkest days feel survivable, like this video, it helps more than you know. And maybe share it with someone who needs a reminder that they aren't alone tonight. Then came the family meeting. Mum and Dad sat us down, their faces beaming with pride. Jen got into St. Florence's Academy in Chicago. They announced, "We're moving." My entire world just tilted on its axis. All I could think about was Hunter. "I'm not leaving Hunter," I begged them, my voice shaking. They just looked at me, their faces hardening. They called me selfish. Later that night, something unexpected happened. A slip of paper appeared under my bedroom door. It was an invitation to Emily's going-away party from Jen. "Come if you want," she had written on it. My heart was pounding in my chest, but I decided to go. It was the first real party I had ever been invited to in my life. When I got there, the mansion was glowing with lights and music poured out of the open doors. It was overwhelming. Then, a slow song started to play. Hunter appeared by my side and took my hand. We started to dance, moving close together. His cologne wrapped around me like a safety blanket. The whole world seemed to fade away. I gathered all my courage, looked up at him, and whispered, "I like you." He smiled down at me. "I like you too," he answered, and then we kissed. For one perfect, flawless moment, every single lonely year, every bit of pain just melted away. And then I heard it. Laughter, it started as a snicker, then erupted, echoing all around me. I opened my eyes, and phones were pointed at me. On a giant screen behind the DJ, a video was playing on a loop. It was me, swaying alone on the dance floor, my arms wrapped around nothing, kissing empty air. The room started to spin. The humiliation was like fire, burning through every inch of me. I fled. I ran out of the house, ran until I reached our old treehouse and collapsed, sobbing so hard I could barely breathe. A few minutes later, I heard the ladder creak. Jen climbed up. She was the absolute last person on earth I expected to see, and I don't know why, but I just broke it. I told her everything. About Madison, my friend from when I was little, about Hunter, about the imaginary friends I had to create just to survive the loneliness. My voice was breaking, and I called myself a freak, a loser, completely unlovable. Jen just sat there beside me in the dark, silent, for a long moment. I thought she was going to laugh too, but she didn't. She finally spoke, her voice soft. "You're not a freak, Lola. You coped the only way a hurting kid knew how, and now you don't have to cope alone anymore." Later that night, we did something crazy. We went to my dad's butcher shop, filled a bag with raw leftover meat scraps, and drove back to Emily's house. We snuck up to her front door, and just as she opened it, we dumped the entire bag right over her perfectly styled hair. We ran all the way home, laughing. Real, breathless, side-splitting laughter. And in that moment, running through the dark streets, we were sisters. For the very first time. On moving day, I climbed into the treehouse one last time to say goodbye. And they were both there, Madison and Hunter, looking soft and glowing, just like they always did. "We're saying goodbye," they said gently, their voices in my head feeling warm and final. "You have real people now who see you. You have Jen. Let them in." Tears streamed down my face as I hugged the empty air where they stood. I whispered, "Thank you. Thank you for carrying me when no one else could." In Chicago, Jen kept every single promise. During one of our late-night talks, she finally confessed her own exhaustion. The endless pressure she felt to be the genius, the constant competing just to ease our parents' money worries, how all she ever wanted was a normal teenage life. I held her while she cried that night, and a week later, I stood right beside her when she told Mum and Dad she was quitting spelling bees forever. After that, we became inseparable. The sister I had spent years resenting became my closest friend, my safe place. We both realized we'd been lonely the whole time we were just wearing different masks to hide it. Healing isn't instant. It's not a straight line.